Before we get started, let me clarify a few things about what this course is and what it isn't so you have the right expectations. First is that our focus will be on building a real world application and not to explore all features of Angular or ASP.NET Core, because each application, depending on its requirements, often needs a subset of features in any given frameworks. So it's impossible for me to talk about all the features of, let's say, ASP.NET Core or any framework core and how they are different from their previous versions. That's not the scope of this course and requires a separate course. In this course, I'm assuming you're familiar with Angular 2 and the previous versions of ASP.NET and Entity Framework, that is ASP.NET MVC 5 and Entity Framework 6, and want to quickly get up to speed with .NET Core in a hands-on and pragmatic way. So our focus here is on building a real-world application using the latest technologies. Now, this app, even though it's a real-world application, it's not a complete and sophisticated app with a fancy user interface like those popular web apps out there. These apps, especially those with complex features and fancy user interfaces, are built by a team of developers working together for several months or longer. Also, in such teams, there are other practices like continuous integration, continuous deployment, automated testing, and so on. So it's not something that I, as one person, can demonstrate within 7 to 10 hours. And even if I extend the scope of this course to 50 or 100 hours, it's not going to be useful because both you and I will lose momentum and get lost in detail along the way. So, from a teaching point of view, this is not going to be effective. Instead, we're going to build an application with a few basic functions, mostly centered around CRUD operations. So, you're going to learn how to build forms with Angular that talk to backend APIs built with ASP.NET Core. And to make the application more interesting, I've included a few complex use cases based on the students' feedback, like cascading dropdown lists and dynamically rendered checkboxes and so on. Also, we're going to look at filtering, sorting, and paging data. We're going to look at handling and login errors, displaying toast notifications, but note that this is not real-time notifications coming from the server, just a toast notification. We're also going to look at authentication and authorization with multiple roles having different permissions. We're going to look at preventing CSRF security attacks. We're going to look at uploading photos with progress bars, displaying charts, dialog boxes, and so on. Depending on your level of experience, you may find this the right level for you, or you may think this is too easy. So I'm explaining this to make sure you're at the right level for this course. If you're looking for an application with a complex domain and want to learn about domain-driven design or design patterns, continuous integration, automated testing, this course is not what you're looking for. Having said that, you're welcome to extend this application and add new complex features, but that's not within the scope of this course. Also, this application is going to have a very simple user interface, so our focus is not on something that is visually outstanding. That's the job of a UI designer, not a programmer. If you're good at designing user interfaces, it's a bonus. It helps you stand out from the rest of the crowd, but it's not something that is expected from you. And one last thing about the 60-day challenge program. As the title of this program says, this is all about challenging you and helping you take your coding skills to the next level. So, as you're building these features, you may get stuck, you may get compile time or runtime errors, or certain things may not work on your machine. You're welcome to use the discussion board to post your questions, but you cannot expect me or others to help you solve these issues. That's your job as a developer. Because in the real world, when you are part of a team, every single day you will encounter tens of issues like that. There, you don't have me or other students in the course to help you. So you need to do your own research and find a solution. And the first thing you need to do is to jump on Google and type the error message or the problem. I can guarantee that in more than 90% of the cases, you can find your answer on the first page of Google. And guess what? That's exactly what I do when I encounter issues. So if you're going to post your question and expect me to help you, chances are I may not know the reason why you're having a problem on your machine because I don't know everything. Yes, in this course, I'm your instructor, but outside this, I'm a student myself. So when you ask me something that I don't know, I have to jump on Google and do research on your behalf. And this will prevent you from growing. If you want to take your coding skills to the next level, if you want to get a better job with better pay, you have to earn it. And yes, it's not easy. It takes time. Sometimes you have to stay up till 3 a.m. in the morning. Nobody said it's easy. But if you're passionate, if you're determined, you can earn it. You can be a senior developer with a good job, with a good pay. And that's the whole purpose of this 60-day challenge program, to push you out of your comfort zone. Okay, now that you know exactly what this course is and what it isn't, let's take a look at the prerequisites in more detail.